You're rolling.
So
We're rolling.
the first song is about a situation where a girl, she was eyeing me, right? And I get the sense that, as long as I play my cards right, I approach it the right way, something's gonna happen. So that's what this first song's about.
Is it an original?
Yes, I wrote it. I really did. All right, so here it goes. I asked you out on a date. You said that sounds nice, I'll let you know. I was so confused until you told me the truth. Then I said, let's be friends together. Let's be friends forever. I'm so glad you told me the truth. But it means that I can't touch your boobs. I love the way you looked at me. Made me think you liked me. Thought you wanted my dick, but you only wanted friendship.
Together, let's be friends forever.
So glad you told me the truth. But it means that I can't touch your boobs. Yeah, that's happened to me at least a dozen times. I felt quite the gaydar. And I don't know. I'm like drawn to lesbians because it's like I think I'm terrified of women. I don't know. I don't actually know what's gonna happen. It's like it's just so comforting, when it's like off the table, But anyway, I've been on the other side of that too, actually, though. This is a story. I met this guy in a train. There's no song for this one. But I met this weirdo on the train. And he was like so weird. He was like dancing around like this. He was like pointing at the map. Oh, Gujarati is part of India. He's like really goofy and weird. I was interested because it's like, I thought I could relate to him. I wanted to connect with him, And I started talking to him. And I felt like we could really connect and get along. And like, he was like, people usually talk to me on the train. He got really excited. So, then we were getting off the same stop. He was like, hey, you want to get a cup of coffee? I was like, sure, yeah, I want to get to know this guy. I want to hear his story. I want to connect with him. Why is he he's so interesting. I want to really connect with him. So then we went to McDonald's. He got a coffee. We were talking, right? And I was just asking him a lot of deep questions, I asked him, so what do you do for a living? He didn't really work, I was just like, at one point, I asked him, hey, so do you like girls? And he was like, no. And I was like, oh, he's asexual, all right. Lots of people on that spectrum are asexual, right? And then he was like looking at me. I noticed it. And I was just like, are you into guys? He was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then he was like really looking at me, and I was just like, are you into me? And he was like, yeah. And then he was like, are you into me? And I wasn't sure, because what happens is sometimes I can't tell where I am until the people begin. Because he was attracted to me, so it kind of confused me, because so I was like, I don't know. Here, let me hold for your hand for a second. So I held his hand for a minute, for like a few seconds, let it go. Held it again. This is what I said, literally. He's like, nah.
Oh my god.
And then I went right back to just ask him a lot of deep questions. He was like so confused and so creeped out. Eventually he left. I left him feeling weirded out and uncomfortable from that whole situation. Me, the straight guy, and so yeah. I felt bad though, because I've been rejected too, like way worse, don't get me wrong. But I can relate, I felt bad, I felt sympathy for him. So that's what this next story is about. So it's not a cringy song in and of itself, but let me just paint the picture, all right? So I met a girl when I was 15. She was almost my high school sweetheart. I almost kissed her, but I smelled her scent and it overwhelmed me and I couldn't do it. In hindsight, it wasn't a bad scent. I was just overwhelmed because, I'd never done anything with anyone before. So nothing happened. I shied away from her. We stopped hanging out, and then my parents got divorced. So then I got back in touch with her. I just drifted away, right? And I got back in touch with her 15 years later, around COVID. So the story there is, in 2019, I went off my meds for the first time in 10 years. The first thing I did was I wrote a song about her, how I felt about her, right? And I was crying, I was writing it, I was practicing it. I performed at open mics for like almost 2 years, all over the place. And then in 2019, I wrote the song. 2020, we started talking. Shortly after she relapsed, we were like talking on video calls, and like sometimes she was drunk off rest, other times we really connected. And then like November of 2020, and like I went off my meds and wrote the song in January 2019. Big lead up. For the first time in 15 years, I came to visit her. We spent a week together. And at first she was like, oh, you should come stay with us. And then after a week she was like, no, you really shouldn't. You should probably leave soon. So then I wrote a song, right? And I had to express how I felt about her, right? Because it was important to me. I knew, you know. So she was just sitting there, coldly smoking a cigarette, right? And then I played my song for her because I had to express how I felt. And this is the song right here. Regretting the past, dreaming of time travel, stalking these shells, thoughts drift to you. We could have been happy if I'd kissed you. We're such a weirdo. That's what made you special. I look at your pictures, nothing but love. I wish I had been there for you and your daughter. I just wanna see you again. You never made me feel alone. I don't want to be alone. It's not over. So much medication holding in my feelings. They all think I'm crazy. I don't know how to feel. You were drunk, told me you liked me. I pushed you away. I criticized your family. I was so scared. I don't know what would have happened if I'd opened up to you. I could have been a whole person. And I would have been so alone. I don't want to be alone. But now it's way too late. I really knew you, but I still miss you. Okay, so you got the setup, you got the song. How do you think she responded to that? Any ideas? Anyone? Like
Kisses.
okay, kisses. Anyone else?
Run in terror. Run in terror afterwards.
All right. Any others?
Marriage proposal.
No, she didn't write a song about me.
Awkward yet polite compliments.
Hell no. No. So the way it went was, she basically said, "Well, thanks for that. Now I feel uncomfortable." And then she walked away. And that's exactly how I thought it was going to go. I was like, yeah, it was already over. It was very clear. I was like, I just had to express it to her, In the lead up to that, I forgot, I meant to have this other part, which maybe it's kind of funny now to take the edge off. So, in the lead up to that, during her video calls, she became creeped out because I was asking a question about her daughter. And so I was like, "Why are you interested in my daughter?" She was like freaked out. So I wrote a little song to make her feel, to like assuage her fears. She was nervous. So this is that song real quick. I like kids, but I don't like kids that much. I like kids, but not in a weird way. I like kids, would never bring yours trouble. I like kids, always want to be an uncle, but not the rapist kind. I don't know why, it didn't really work. Eventually she realized I wasn't into her kid. So I met her kid and we had one good moment, I was like I was like, "Hey, look at me." And she looked me in the eye and I farted and she laughed.
Bonding.
But, so a couple months later we had a video call after I left, and I asked her what she thought of the song. She never told me. She said, "I thought it was really sad." And I was like, "Why?" She was like, "Because I realized I could never love you." And I was just like, I was so pissed. Because, yeah, obviously it's in the song. But now, it's way too late. Looks like someone's not living up to their pedestal. But I was upset because I really thought, I regretted that I didn't go for it back then. I thought I could have saved her. I thought maybe if we got together, a lot of bad things wouldn't have happened. Maybe she wouldn't become an alcoholic. Maybe I could have saved her, But maybe not, Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was better off. Maybe, it would have been way worse for both of us, There's no way to know. But the thing is, I'm a Taurus, and Tauruses don't believe in fate. Tauruses don't believe in astrology either. That's it.